welcome to another episode of Cemetery Strolls. Today we're in Carisbrook. I've actually forgot the name of the church, I will put it up. But this is one of the entrances of 6 to get into this churchyard. We would have seen this one when we were up at Carisbrook Castle. Unfortunately, a lot of these are going to be unreadable because of the situation where they are, but we'll get what we can and then see what we can do. And there are some graves up there that I do want to try and find, obviously. See if we can try and read some of these stones. Can't see it. I can see writing on it, but what I'll do is I'll go through Find the Grave, and there are places to do it. There are ones with pictures which may be able to give us some info. If so, then I'll put it up. Up on the hill, up there, that's Mount Joy. That's the other cemetery that we're going to visit sometime. There's a lot of really old ones. When we just go on, we'll come back to there in a bit, obviously. See if the church is open. It doesn't look it. Shame. We'll have to come back. For this one. So let's see if we can read something. We've got Harriet. We've got Harriet Wilson, who looks like 1810. This one looks like Edith Howe. Can't read much, there's 1810 on it. Then we have another one of the entrances. Looking down the high street of the village. Harriet Jolliffe, 1856. A 1778 on the side there. This here is another exit, an entrance. This one's the one nearest to the War Memorial. You can see some of the old houses. Here we've got the War Memorial, erected in the memory of the men of this parish who fell in the Great War, 1914 to 1919. Obviously all these names will appear, obviously, no doubt, in the Isle of Wight Memorial, which is at Carisbrook Castle. And then we've got one for the 2nd World War, 1939 to 1945. And then we got another one from Malaya, 1948, 1959. And somebody added to the First World War. And there's more names. Thank you all for your service. That's different. It's a shame that wasn't all clear. It looks like it's got a bird on the top, pulling the top part up, and a hand at the bottom, pulling the bottom down. And it's quite hilly as well. Round one here, well, oval I should say, in memory of Horatio Dennett, son of John and Leah Dennett, born September like the 7th, 1815, died November the 28th, 18, I think it's 90 something. And there is more to it, but I can't get to that. But that's lovely. It's around the ovalness of it. It's a shame yet again the ivy. I'd like to get in there and just tear that all off. Lovely metal railings around it. Yeah, that's nice. I'm situated underneath a beautiful yew tree, and it is a massive one. Have a look at the trunk with the snowdrops underneath of it. That is big. Let's have a look, we've got some more here. Emma, second daughter. And then we've also got John, the son. John Dennett was a famous inventor. Starting around 1826, he developed a short-ship rocket with a line attached for life-saving purposes. Perfected in 1832, it remained in use until the 1890s. Custodian of Carisbrooke Castle, He was an early archaeologist and wrote articles on various barrows and objects. James and Elizabeth Dennett, born September the 25th, 1789. He died July the 10th, 1852. And there's Leah Dennett, his widow, born 1786. He died, looks like 1786 and 1880, but it looks like 1860. And then Anne Elizabeth, their daughter. So that needs just to clean up, and that'll come out lovely. I'm catching it, but I'm just not. Look at a picture and hopefully that'll help us out, and then we can find some info. I had to do this one because I've come past it so many times. So I thought I'll do it, and I know a lot of them are unrecognisable, but it doesn't mean we can't trace who they are. Just looking on the outside of the church, 1710. It's all on there. Up the top, just above the windows, let's see if I can zoom in. 1907. So I take it they must be dating when they actually build certain parts. Plenty of flint work in there as well. Lovely windows. These literally do look like the original. This is Charlotte. This one's just got like a GH on it by the looks of it, and then FMT. Can't see no dates. Seems to be a lot underneath the yew tree. This area looks a bit crowded. Tree ball bush growing out of that one. Writing on it, but I can't read it obviously. George, 18 something down at the bottom. Nice and big tombs. This looks like Lieutenant Colonel George Robertson. Lieutenant Colonel George Robinson, commanding officer of the Canadian Regiment of Fencible Infantry from 1810 to 1815. Robinson joined the army in 1793, serving under Sir Ralph Applegarby, incidentally Lieutenant Governor of the Isle of Wight at the time.
in the successful campaign to suppress the French planters' revolt in the West Indies, 1795 to 1797, and in the Anglo-Russian invasion of Holland in 1799. He was Major of the Lochaber Fencibles, raised in Scottish Highlands, before joining the Canadian Fencibles, and later regiment recruited from volunteers in Canada and liable only for service in North America, and many of the officers were Scottish. Robinson was considered more capable commanding officer of the Canadian Fencibles than he was his predecessor, David Shank. An inspection report in 1809 had described the regiment's appearance as disgraceful to the service under Robertson's command, and reputation of Fencibles greatly improved by 1815. The regiment was complimented on its steady discipline and soldiering-like appearance. The Fencibles fought in the War of 1812, seeing successful action was at the Chantilly Crystals Farm and the Lacoste Mills at the Battle of the Shangarry on the 26th of October 1813. A combined British-Canadian, Abenaki and Handesui forces successfully repelled an American attempt to advance on Montreal. Robinson was not present at the light company of the Fencibles fought in a forward position under the command of his Captain Richard Ferguson. British and Canadian victory at Chrysler's Farm on the 11th of November effectively ended America's St. Lawrence campaign. The Grenadier Company of the Fencibles fought at Lacoste Mill the following spring on the 30th of March 1814, where a British-Canadian force of 500 successfully repelled a much larger American attack. In 1808, Robinson married Maria Clara Cuthbert, the youngest daughter of James Cuthbert, Seigneur of Berthier, now Quebec. The regiment was disbanded in 1816, and the Robinsons presumably retired to the Isle of Wight, where George died in 1818, following a lingering illness, the nature of which was unclear. A memorial outside the church suggests it was a result of an injury sustained serving in Canada.
actually a handprint which sticks out the wall. There it is. Like I say, I've shown this on the short, so there's the hand.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side. La 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 la.
It's different. I've seen some of these sort of bed ones before, but this is like, it's got different ends to it. Yeah, again, can't read, but if there's any info on Find the Grave, then I'll put it up there. One there, too much of it, but crossbones on it, so not sure what that one is, but do the same as we try and do with the rest of them. Looks like John Mortimer. Have another. We've got a skull and crossbones here. That's different. I've not seen something like that before. But the flint work around it is gorgeous. I could just about make them out, but I can't read them. Here we have, in sacred memory of the Reverend Edward Dickinson Scott, M.A., of Queen's College, Oxford, Vicar of Carisbrooke, within the chapel of Newport and Northwood. He departed his life December the 1st, 1857, aged 58. Do a bit of a clean up. A lot of these you can't really see. They've been weathered, obviously, being where we are. All that side, left them, just leaning. It's Carisbrooke Castle. I'll put the link up for Carisbrooke Castle if nobody's actually seen it yet. But interesting walk. I have got to go back because there are other events and other things I've got to film as well. So check that out. It's worth a watch. This grave here, I think the wind's going to be blowing, so I will be doing the main talk over when I get back home. This is Lieutenant Edward Nicholas, or Ned Kendall. This is a family plot. You can see some of the not much writing on there, but like I say, I'll be doing a talk over it a bit.
Lieutenant Edward Nicholas Ned Kendall, a lieutenant in the Royal Navy, son of Captain Edward Kendall of Penlyn House, County of Cornwall, one of the Vancouver officers, and grandson of Admiral Hick, both of whom were well known for their services during the war. For his zeal, energy and scientific attainments in early years, he was engaged by the North Sea survey in the trigonometry survey of the coast of Iceland and also at the Cape of Good Verde in the coast of Africa. He was an excellent astronomer, and his hydrographical attainment few could excel. Combined urbanity and benevolence of disposition caused him to be generally beloved, admired, employed upon particularly arduous services. He was selected for one of the polar expeditions with Captain G.F. Lloyd on the land Arctic expedition under Sir John Franklin and associates with Dr. Richardson in the discovery and survey of the Arctic Sea between the Mackenzie and Coppermine rivers. Also chosen for scientific researches on the equatorial and South Polar regions under Captain H. Foster in the Chanticleer, and subsequently appointed on a secret confidential mission connected with the boundary lines between the United States and the British possessions in North America. The monument was erected by the officers and men of the Peninsula and Oriental Steam Navigation Company, a testimonial of respect in the memory of the late Lieutenant E.N. Kendall, R.N., their superintendent at Southampton. Also lies the remains of his widow Mary Ann Kendall, the eldest daughter of the late Joseph K. Esquire, architect, who entered into rest on the 25th of February 1869, aged 61. The gravesite details basically the metal railings are somewhat damaged and the stone is worn. The inscription is now very difficult to make out. Well, that's it for another episode of Cemetery Strolls. Thank you for joining me at Cowsbrook today. Unfortunately, we couldn't get into the church, but not to worry because I will be going back and hopefully I can get in soon. So I thank you much all for joining me on this little stroll. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. And it helps the channel, obviously, and especially press them likes. And don't forget, leave a comment. If there's something that interests you or there's something you want to ask me, just leave a comment and we'll get back to you. So thank you very much. Goodbye.